Let me at him!
Well, there it is. Hello there and welcome to a WTiiWarcraft shoutcast of 2 players from Warfree Arena. It seems to be the latest fad these days, doesn't it? We see a LazyPlayer playing as the green human at the top left of Ancient Isles, and he is against ZEIKOOO, the blue human, at the bottom right of the map. And these two are going to duke it out, and hopefully we're going to get a nice entertaining game from it, because this is under the top replay section of Warfree Arena. And you know what, you might ask me why I'm doing these guys and maybe not absolute utter pros. Simply because the replay works. It comes down to that at the moment. I still haven't had much luck when it comes to trying to get like pro tournaments or, you know, sections like a best of 3 from like a recent tournament on Warcraft 3, because generally when I download those replays, 2 of them out of the 3 don't even work, because I tried to do this the other day and, well, yeah, that's basically what happened. So here we are today with what is going to hopefully be an entertaining game for you guys, and let me know in the comment section below as the game progresses just how you feel about it, and if so, if you like it, then maybe I'll do some more from the Warfree Arena, like the players that still try hard on it, and maybe I can do them some justice. I might not type GG to them, but I can do some shoutcasting of them. You know, I can do that much at least. So we've got LazyPlayer coming through in the middle here with his little cheeky militia, having a look for potential enemy farms and where his opponent might be creeping, what his layout is, what his plans are essentially. Both heroes are going to be archmages. This is a human mirror, of course, and you got to get yourself some archmage action, haven't you? Looks like the footman is out for ZEIKOOO. One thing to note, actually, just before I do start continuing, is that there currently isn't a referee or an observer, because this was played live, so I can only switch between the 2 players. So I can either keep the fog of war on between the 2 players, which just isn't going to be the case, so I'm going to have to take the fog of war off for this replay, simply because I don't have a 3rd player to essentially use for fog of war action. Okay, so we can see LazyPlayer right now, and he's coming out with his archmage, 4 militia, and he's building a scout tower at base, more footmen coming over, and it looks like he's moving over to his nearest orange creep camp. Meanwhile, ZEIKOO's taking along what looks like 6 militia. He's got 2 peasants back at base, continuing the scout tower for himself as well. So both players want a scout tower, and ZEIKOO's going for a rather difficult creep camp here. This is essentially 14, looks like about, well, 20 levels worth of experience here, right here, for a level 1 archmage, and he's got a lot of decent DPS on the troll warlord that's about to go down rather quickly right now, so that's very nice, whilst the water elemental's doing some fantastic tanking. Ank of Reincarnation, not quite useful yet, but could be useful later on, or particularly in a push. Let's have a little look and see how you know, LazyPlayer got on. Ooh, a Ring of Protection +2. I think I'll take the Ank. And we're going to have a look at the experience distribution here. At the moment, you can see LazyPlayer's still got a level 1.9 Archmage, and ZEIKOO's on a level 2.5 Archmage himself. But LazyPlayer's moved on to the middle creep camp, which is a decent orange creep camp, which can definitely give a decent item and good experience straight afterwards. Both players are really creeping hard here. There's no messing around. There's no sort of trying to harass each other, which I would have expected. No footmen inside of the enemy base, just chipping away at peasants. That's not happening. Oh, another Ring of Protection +2. I take that back from what I said about the good items. Well, at least he's got +4 armor, so that archmage is going to tank it a little bit. Let's have a look here at ZEIKOOO. We can see that this little cheeky fella's about to take down a red drake very shortly after finishing off the rest of the creep camp. And he's got himself a nice little berserker to help him do that. Pick up a decent item. Surely there's going to be a good item here. Oh, what's it going to be? It's going to be Rune Braces. That could be handy versus a potential Mountain King later on in the game for focus fire nukes. Now, LazyPlayer's starting to clear out his creep camp. Lots of militia abuse going on here, but he's going to get ganked in a second by ZEIKOOO, coming in for a nice flank. He's got some mercenaries. He's got a great position here. He's got a lot of options, and LazyPlayer isn't anywhere near close to finishing off that level 5 Null Warden, so he's going to have to back out of this while ZEIKOOO tries to pick off any weak militia, and then he can probably take the creep camp for himself, or at least contest over it. Meanwhile, let's have a quick look at both players. Still sitting at Town Hall, although LazyPlayer's just started a tech whilst all of this is going on, so he wants to make sure he can reach tier 2 before anything else goes drastically wrong for him. Oh, nice little chase there on the Berserker. Is he going to try to hunt it down completely? If he does, he sacrifices the right for this Null Overseer, which could, once again, drop a really good item. So it looks like ZEIKOOO might be picking up all the best items this game so far. Berserker goes down, and LazyPlayer manages to notch himself up to level 3, which is really nice. Little chase there on the Footman, not going to pick it up though. Periapt of Vitality, oh, very good item as well. Really punching in there. Almost level 4 for the Archmage of ZEIKOOO. We've got an Arcane Vault here at the back for LazyPlayer, and what looks to be a potential second Arcane Tower. ZEIKOOO now moving in on the bottom mercenary, well, Goblin Merchant camp, I would say. It's not a mercenary camp. Null Overseer, are you going to give us a Ring of Protection +2? No, it's a replenishment potion. Not too bad for an Archmage if he wants to potentially harass the enemy base afterwards. Not this one, that's his own one, but this one up here, that's the one. And he's got himself level 4, so that's level 2 Brilliance Aura. That mana is really going to be ticking now alongside that rejuvenation that he used from the item. Very nice indeed. Nice little farm here that gives access to potential scouts as well as a Goblin Shredder, should he dare to get one. Lumber Mill and 2 Arcane Towers at the back. This seems to be a common thread from human players from what I'm seeing. Oh, a third tower. And a third tower for LazyPlayer. I wonder if these two practice against each other often, or like I say, this is kind of interesting for me to watch as well because I'm trying to try hard it a little bit myself in the War 3 arena. Another replenishment potion picked up there for LazyPlayer, who's now starting to get ganked himself, but he managed to get the main item from the Null Warden so he can back off here. After getting ganked the first time, he wants to at least get some sort of item, even if it's not the best item in the game. Just give me my items, damn it, he says. Oh, ZEIKOOO really going for some, what you could argue is some psycho play. He's coming in here on a red creep camp, which isn't easy to pick off straight away, but the Water Elemental is definitely going to help here with the DPS burst to potentially get himself a Book of the Dead. Now that's a very nice item. Imagine getting that and then going straight into your enemy base before they've got themselves the appropriate counters. We can see a LazyPlayer almost about to hit tier 2, finishing off a Blacksmith right now as well, and ZEIKOOO not far behind himself for the tier 2 stage. And LazyPlayer's just trying to make the best of the situation. Almost like he knows that ZEIKOOO might be potentially taking his creep camp up here because he hasn't seen him since. That's what I'll be wondering. Where has he gone? He hasn't attacked my base. He isn't doing this. I've got a farm in the middle and I have not spotted him, so he must be doing something at the top. But I can't really do much about it because all I've got is 3 frickin' footmen. But he's picked up a panda. Panda. So I don't think that Rune Braces is going to do that much versus a panda, but it still helps because he does like to spam out the Breath of Fire. Oh my goodness, is this a 4th tower? Oh, spoiling us now. 2 Arcane Towers and 2 Guard Towers soon to be. Meanwhile, well, first Guard Tower for ZEIKOOO going straight into castle mode. And he's got a nice line of farms there that sort of stops a lot of these footmen from flowing easily into these towers range. So they're going to take down the mana of this panda. Nice little burst down there, but he's going to be abusing his Breath of Fire to try and take down his farms step by step. Meanwhile, ZEIKOO's at the top here, creeping, getting himself the Illyria's Flute of Accuracy. How bizarre. He didn't pick it up. He just went straight into the teleport. Oops, that's the first mistake of the game. Let's see if he's going to get punished for this teleport as well. Oh, luckily for him, the panda does not have enough mana for a Breath of Fire. Otherwise, that could have done some nice damage. I know I've felt the pain from that. Mountain King is now coming out from ZEIKOOO. He was probably hoping that Mountain King would come out just like 5 seconds earlier. Then he could get a nice, decent Stormbolt and perhaps a surround. But it looks like LazyPlayer is going to be able to flee from here without losing too much and not using the teleport himself from what I can tell. Yes, he looks pretty good. Any more towers? No, we're good for towers now, aren't we? Yep, yes, we are. Any upgrades? Footmen don't seem to have any upgrades right now, and I'm not seeing any upgrades from the Blacksmith. Now, ZEIKOOO finishing off this middle creep camp. There's not much creeps left, actually. There's only this creep camp over here, a green spot, and then the orange creep camp over here. And then you've got the actual natural creep camp for ZEIKOOO. So ZEIKOOO, by going for this bottom, a nice touch there from LazyPlayer, building a farm here by the Goblin Laboratory as well. Instead of taking the one by his, he wants to farm by the other guy's farm. That's quite cheeky indeed. So I was going to say that by ZEIKOO's sort of aggressive creeping patterns, it allows him to secure creeps for future creeping near his own base for more security purposes and safety. Less likely to get ganked. Looks like LazyPlayer's been holding onto these Ring of Protections for dear life. No reason to get rid of those, I suppose, if you're not going to replace them with anything. And in comes a Zeppelin. Ooh, Ooh, this could be good. But there are 4 towers inside of ZEIKOO's base. No, 3 towers. He's the dude with 3 towers, and LazyPlayer is the guy with 4 towers. Meanwhile, oh wow. Workshop, straight into workshop. So tier 3 into workshop, and we're seeing priests and dispel. There we go. There's the drop in, the breath of fire. Oh, that is one hell of an awesome drop. Look how many peasants are going to be picked off here because of a very good surround. Yeah, the arcane towers are screwing him over, but he doesn't care. This is a bit of an all-in situation here. The Zeppelin's outside of the ranger tower, so he can back off in this situation. There's no sorceresses for slow. There's not enough DPS to bring down that goblin Zeppelin right now. So LazyPlayer's making the best of this situation, but it looks like he's definitely going to have to get out before he gets storm bolted again. Do not get storm bolted because you cannot pick up your hero whilst it's storm bolted. And meanwhile, it looks like ZEIKOO is going to try to do any damage he can do to the Zeppelin whilst it comes into range. And it looks like LazyPlayer is going to sacrifice a few of these footmen. It's just not worth bringing the Zeppelin out a little bit further to try and pick them up just in case it goes down. So that was a nice little touch there. Didn't go fantastically for him simply because the towers are a pain in the butt, but that was a really good harass point there. So we're going to see how much this affects him really. Not much actually, because apparently his wood status is very good. He didn't even need a shredder. How did he do that? Magic. So we've got a paladin here as the 3rd hero for ZEIKOO, and he's got a level 5 archmage, so this is going to be good experience for the Mountain King and the paladin to now buddy up and creep away using the rest of those creep spots. Archmage probably going to clarity pot up or something, maybe not even necessary. Looks like LazyPlayer's looking for another opportunity to drop in, but the water elemental says no. What item did you pick up there, little fella? Looks like he got himself Gloves of Haste. He's got a boost of speed for his Mountain King and Ring of Protection +2. That's good for the Mountain King, definitely, especially with the bash procs, Gloves of Haste. If you can get the Mountain King in there, which is why he's got the boost of speed, so he can reliably be attacking his opponent. LazyPlayer, get Paladin being beaten up by a sheep there. Oh, we've got a nice little mix here, and he's been scouted out just as I'm going through this. We can see that he's got a mortar team, he's got priests, and the paladin is going to be picking up. What is he going to be picking up? What are you going to be picking up, my boy? What is it? Tell me what it is. Oh, cheeky. LazyPlayer finally manages to do some aggressive creeping and get some experience from his opponent, but he's not looking too good. Level 3 Archmage, level 2 Panda. This is going to come down a lot to how the Panda plays out and how many kills he can get. Nice little touch here though for him, because the Shadow Priest is sitting there AFK, but whilst he's doing that, he's just merely a distraction for LazyPlayer, because we can see ZEIKOO's now coming in over here for a nice little harass. Oh yes, he's looking pretty good right now. Paladin taking quite a lot of hits there from the Arcane Tower. Backing off just a little bit now. It's Mountain King's turns to take some hits from the Arcane Tower. Don't lose that precious mana. Stay back, let the water elementals tank it. They're good. Oh, a nice little gyrocopter coming in here just to see everything that needs to be seen. Not that there's anything that's going to be going to invisible at this point. We've got ZEIKOO pulling back here. It looks like he's saving a unit there, so that's nice. I was going to say nice touch. That's becoming the phrase of the moment here. Staff of Sanctuary, so he's got a nice little Staff of Sanctuary there on the footman. Even on the footman, it's still worth it if you're just denying your opponent experience. More priests. This is bizarre play, I must admit. Griffin Avery, so we're going to see some sort of tier 2/tier 3 straight up play. Mortar teams with the fragmentation shards for ZEIKOO, and he's going to be picking off the farms. Is there still a farm in the middle? No. But there is one here, and it's not there for long. What's he going to do about this farm, though, by the Goblin Laboratory? I wonder if he's going to be dealing with that. Goblin Zeppelin just sitting there right now, a bit lonely, not sure what it can do with itself. Knights, mortars, priests, and, well, that's for ZEIKOO, but meanwhile for LazyPlayer, he's getting him same deal, but minus the knights, and exchanging the knights for what will be griffins once he can get himself over that 50 food cap, because right now he's stuck at 48 over 48, so he's just upgrading the storm hammers for the griffins so they can attack multiple targets with each attack. Knights on knight action, Mountain Kings bolting the priests. Looks whose knight's going to go down first. The paladin's trying to keep each of their knights alive. There is a Staff of Sanctuary for ZEIKOO though. Oh my goodness. LazyPlayer uses his, but unfortunately because it's right by the castle, it only instead of teleporting it to the back of the castle, it teleports it right to the front, allowing ZEIKOO to pick off the knight despite being sent back. Ooh, gonna have a little bit of a ruckus between these two. A bit of a tense stalemate here. LazyPlayer just hanging back. He hasn't got very powerful heroes. Bear that in mind. He's only on level 4. 2 and 1. Meanwhile, we can see ZEIKOO with 5, 3 and 1. So he's not far ahead, but he's far ahead enough in essentially what is a human mirror here, you know. A mirror match. So if you're ahead in a mirror match, then, well, you're pretty much ahead. As long as you don't F up, you know. So we can see he's sitting at the 50 food cap, ZEIKOOO. He's not pushing his luck because he hasn't got an expansion. Both players have an expansion free, potentially, for later on in the game, should they be able to hit a point where they can do that. The mortars with the fragmentation shards should be trying to hit the priest whatever they can, because they will do massive damage to the priest and not much damage to anything else, to be quite frank with you. So there's only really one target for them right now. Knights moving in here, lots of little Staff of Sanctuaries off cooldown when possible, because it's a fantastic heal. It just heals for free, essentially, up to maximum health. So as long as he doesn't get himself outnumbered or overwhelmed, that Knight is quite good to just sit back at base, healing up. There's so much damage here, well, mana damage really being taken here from the ZEIKOO's heroes here, from the arcane towers. Doing a great job of defending in this defensive position whilst being slightly outside of range. Lots of heals going off, ZEIKOO trying to push further, but the Panda of LazyPlayer is trying to get into position, but at the same time now trying to get back out. Oh my goodness, he gets himself into a safe spot. Throwing down a breath of fire, saying get the hell out. He doesn't want to stay or get surrounded, especially when there's a Mountain King ready for that Stormbolt, Stormbolt, Stormbolt action. Knights are now at 1-1, we can see for ZEIKOO. No upgrades for the Mortar team though. Meanwhile, we can have a look at LazyPlayer, who's sitting at 0-0 upgrade, so he's not upgrading at this point. And I would say that's probably because I would imagine he's kind of slightly behind his opponent, but he's doing a great job of just defending here. With the Griffin Riders coming out, this is going to be a straight up counter to the Knights and also the Mortar teams. So I can understand slightly here the straight transition into Griffin Riders, but he's got to be careful because he needs those in somewhat mass. A lovely Staff of Sanctuary use there. That Griffin Rider took quite a lot of damage, and meanwhile, whilst it was tanking that damage, LazyPlayer was able to do quite a lot of damage to the lower units of ZEIKOO, who is now being pushed back quite strongly right now. His entire army is being pushed back. In fact, it looks like he's being overwhelmed here. He's moving up to 60 food now, but most of that is going to be currently being trained from his production facilities at base. Paladin is going to go down in a moment. I don't think there's a... Oh, there is a Staff of Sanctuary. I spoke to Sim. Meanwhile, we can see that LazyPlayer has got himself 59 out of 60 food. A lot of it was militia, so ZEIKOO should have just straight up run there because he didn't need to stay there any longer than he needed to, especially if militia were coming. But I suppose he just thought he'd give it a go, and it didn't work out too well for him. Particularly the fact that there isn't a Mountain King for LazyPlayer right here, so he can't secure any absolute guaranteed kills. The best he can get is the Panda with the Drunken Haze to try and slow down his opponent. Otherwise, ZEIKOO should be relatively safe to straight up run. But the Archmage can actually do quite a little bit of damage when it's chasing down units, particularly units on lower health. There's a real mixture of units here right now for LazyPlayer. This is just making me not want to play human because I don't want to have to control this many different types of units. It's particularly ones that don't... They gel together well if you're able to play them, but my goodness, they're not exactly mass griffins only, is it? There's such a mixture there, and he's having to play with 3 heroes as well at the same time. Both players are. I don't think there's going to be a save for this Knight, so that's a nice little level up there for ZEIKOO's Paladin. So this time, if he does get focused down again and there is no Staff of Sanctuary for him, he can activate the Divine Shield. Divine Shield to keep himself going. It looks like it's LazyPlayer's time to run away. Meanwhile, ZEIKOO secured himself just recently his own expansion whilst all of that was going down, and he's in a great position as long as he doesn't get chased back here. He just needs to keep his opponent on his toes, but not in a position where he feels confident enough to check for expansions, because he wants to get the most out of that expansion whilst it's still up and running so he can outmass his opponent. I'm surprised I'm not seeing gyrocopters right now. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best counter to Griffin Riders, but it's definitely a bit of a pest to deal with, and it means that LazyPlayer would then be forced into tanks, and ZEIKOO could continue with the Mortar teams. There's a lot of counters going on between this, because I think, well, if he keeps making Mortar teams, then he's going to be vulnerable to the Griffin Riders, so maybe it would be in LazyPlayer's best interest to get some tanks as well, just to secure versus gyrocopters. So I can see why ZEIKOO's not getting the gyrocopters. Oh my goodness, there's so much battle going on here. Spells going off left, right and centre. It looks like Knights are in a lot of trouble here for ZEIKOO. Griffin Riders looking very strong right now. We can see both players... Oh my goodness, wrong button. There we go. Oh, it looks like LazyPlayer is in a little bit of trouble here for his heroes. But they're still levelling up, so they're keeping their health high. And both heroes, well, all heroes for both players are looking relatively strong. It really looks like ZEIKOO's being pushed back very hard here. These Griffin Riders have actually done wonders right now for LazyPlayer. So he played it safe, he played it calm, and he played it collected. He camped in his base. It sounds like I'm taking something away from him, but that is essentially what he did. But by doing that, he allowed himself to essentially build up enough Griffin Riders to chase his opponent away and then keep this back and forth battle going with him slightly winning it. And here we can see the Gyrocopters are now coming out for ZEIKOOO, but not anymore because there's no more workshops. There's one being built at the back, but that's not going to come up anytime soon. Is LazyPlayer's Paladin going down? The Stormbolt secured the kill there with a little bit of focus from the Knights of ZEIKOOO. Oh, lovely heal there, denying the kill there on the Knight. Griffin Riders switching between the Knights and the Knights and the Knights. They're doing a lot of damage, but at the same time the Water Elementals, Archmage and a Stormbolt is still doing some good damage to them. You can see mortar teams for LazyPlayer right now at the back, just trying to be a pest to buildings, whilst the rest of his units and armies are just trying to fight out ZEIKOO's armies and units and heroes. It looks like ZEIKOO's on his last legs though right here at this point. He's Mountain King, he's Paladin. They are both looking very unhealthy. The Archmage, I can't see what the cooldown is in Staff of Sanctuary, but by the judges of him running away, it means that he's not in a good position. And we can see that ZEIKOO has this expansion to depend on. He's got 1,500 gold, 240 wood, and he's not in a comfortable position where he can actually really spend it, because a lot of the units, like these Knights, oh my goodness, he has even more gold. Yeah, there you go, because they're stacked up on the same building. There's a lone Knight that's about to get screwed. Is he going to be able to run away? He's so fast, he's actually going to make it out. Mountain King coming in here for maybe a Stormbolt on the mortar team. Try and pick up a mortar team or two, because they're actually doing really good damage to the peasants whilst they are destroying the buildings, because the frag shards are again hurting peasants which have medium armor, which takes extra damage from the mortar team's frag shard upgrade from tier 3. Oh wow, if I was a LazyPlayer right now, I would almost be throwing down the GG. I'm not quite that cocky. Well, actually I am, but I that's a controversial matter for another time. I won't go into the GG issue too much here. But he's looking pretty strong at this moment. Not to say that he's definitely won it, but he's trying to secure himself with the victory by a beautiful surround there. Unfortunately, he let it go just slightly there because of the Divine Shield, allowing the Water Elementals to go limp and lazy, allowing the Mountain King to run out there. But he had a nice little Stormbolt surround. Not a Stormbolt surround, but he had a surround on the Stormbolter of Truth. And the Stormbolter of Truth, speaking of which, is throwing down the Stormbolt on the Knight, which gets Staff of Sanctuary out to heal up. Oh, the Panda is now leveling up. This is the scariest thing. This is the thing. A Panda, although then again Mountain King is also a ridiculously strong hero. In fact, you could argue that the Mountain King might be the strongest hero in the game if it was level 10 versus most other heroes in general situations. But then again, that's up to debate, and if you want to debate that, then feel free to do so in the comments section. But I would argue that a Panda is freaking scary, particularly when it's got essentially the mana aura, the brilliance aura from the Archmage to reliably depend on, because his casting abilities, Drunken Haze and Breath of Fire, are really cheap, to be quite frank. And a lot of them don't even bother doing Drunken Haze after a while. They just spam Breath of Fire once they get it to level 2 or 3. So they can do some really good damage to militia, or even just burn down heroes. I mean, you're looking at about 200 damage. If it did 200 damage to each and every single hero, that's 600 damage. Of course, they're only going to take a portion of that, so it's probably about 480 damage. But anyway, that's from one Breath of Fire. Oh my goodness, well, there you go. Mathematics, people. It's not quite exactly accurate, because I don't know exactly how much damage it does, but you get the idea. Oh, LazyPlayer, your Griffins, save them. They're still doing well. There's no particular threat at the moment, but speaking of which, I can hear that ZEIKOO is currently trying to build up some Gyrocopter momentum. And if he can hold out long enough with these Knights just dancing about, he's still got this expansion. I can't believe. This is one of the faults that LazyPlayer has made, is that he hasn't scouted for this expansion earlier. Even just to send one Knight there, he's basically been dominating his opponent, and he kind of did have to stay where he was because he's in a dominating position. He's got his opponent on the ropes. But at the same time, if you could just spare one unit, he's probably forgot about it, or in the heat of everything else that's going on, it's quite easy to let something slip. But this is coming from a commentator person who's not even doing anything right now other than speaking words. I'm not doing any of the insane APM micro that's going on here. We can see ZEIKOO coming in there with those Gyrocopters, but they are getting floored down by the freaking Panda with the Breath of Fire, and the Gyro are going down. They came from behind. Not quite, they actually came from in front, and you still got screwed. Wow, indeed, these Griffins are doing some amazing damage. Okay, fair enough. I didn't quite sort of comprehend just how powerful the Panda was going to be versus the Gyrocopter, despite having lots of experience with that. I just didn't really think about it, and now seeing that in first hand, we can see just how devastating that Panda is. So yeah, maybe he shouldn't have gotten Gyrocopters. LazyPlayer, well done with the Panda. ZEIKOO, stop listening to me. Okay, stop building Gyrocopters. Move on to something else. To be quite fair, he hasn't got many options, to be frank, because if he goes Rifleman, they're going to get pretty slaughtered by just the Panda, the rest of the heroes, the Knights. The Griffins can still focus it down. Is there a Star for Sanctuary save? No, the Paladin's going down. The Anchor Reincarnation has been swapped over to him, though, or he had it all along. Either way, he's coming back in a moment. LazyPlayer trying to lose his Knight, but not before the other guys goes down. Oh, the saves, both of them Star for Sanctuaries. We've got Mountain King now under heavy threat here. Holy Light going down. Is there a Star for Sanctuary save for him? Maybe not, because he's running away. Desperately, look at him. Look at his little legs go. He's running away. Look at his bows of speed. Oh my god. Keep going. Listen, Mountain King. He can outrun a Knight. That's really impressive. So we got the LazyPlayer trying to build up there, but the Paladin now going up to level 3 there for ZEIKOOO. So we've got a level 5 Archmage, level 4 Mountain King, who's still under threat here from the Griffin Riders. Oh, 2 health down there. 2 health. Oh my goodness. He's going to outrun the freaking Griffin Riders. And the Paladin just about to find shields up here as well for ZEIKOOO. Action all over the left, right, centre. I think this Mountain King might be going down in a second if the Archmage can save. Oh, he does. The Star for Sanctuary going off there. We can see that ZEIKOOO is now running away as well with his Paladin. He's going to be caught out by a Breath of Fire in a second. Oh, there it is. Lovely job there from frickin' LazyPlayer. Not so lazy after all. ZEIKOOO has managed to reach himself the level 6 point with the Archmage. Is that going to be enough to turn the tide of the game? Will his ability to be able to teleport over the map give him a chance to get back? I think it's hard to say. Probably not right now, because he's under so much threat. It looks like LazyPlayer has the upper hand, and he's going to be defensive as possible. Mountain King is now taking a lot of threat here whilst he's healing up. Is he going to be able to be taken down whilst he's healing up? Oh my goodness, the DPS. I don't think the spell worked there, but that's curious to see. Oh, wow, he did find a use for that teleport. Where did he go? He's at the back here. Lovely job there with the Archmage at level 6. Very, very good job. We got everything coming out here. Militia trying to bring down LazyPlayer. Get him out of his base. ZEIKOOO says, get out of my base. But these peasants, these militia are about to get hit very hard in a moment. No, they're not, because the Panda's now out of mana. So they're quite safe. But then again, I say that somewhat loosely, because they're getting slaughtered by everything else that isn't a Panda. It doesn't just have to be a Panda that kills militia. Although they're still going. They're ballsy, ain't they? They're like suicide squads. They know they're at death's road, but, you know, they're going for it. Panda now up to level 5, and LazyPlayer's peasants have been doing a great job just trying to take down that expansion. They want it for their own. Ah, lovely use of Sanctuary there. Once again, just healing up, consistently bringing the Knights back into the action over and over and over. I think right now, ZEIKOOO's in a very tough spot because he's only got 37 gold. You can see that LazyPlayer is at 89 gold, but he has the ability to Shame Mine. So this is where you send peasants from your main base to an empty exposed gold mine that you don't have an expansion at, and he can abuse that as long as he stays in control of this map right now, because he's got level 5 Archmage, almost level 6, level 5 Panda, level 4 Paladin. ZEIKOOO right now level 6 Archmage, level 4 Mountain King, and a dead Paladin that was level 3. So he's not really in the best spot now, ZEIKOOO. He's lost a lot of his control, a lot of his power by being aggressive, but I can understand why he was being aggressive, because the problem is this map only has so many creeps. It has a decent chunk of creep camps, but clearly not enough, because both players crept very aggressively at the start of this game. Oh my goodness, there's that item that's still there, by the way, the hilarious Flute of Accuracy. You think someone would want to pick it up with griffins and gyrocopters flying around, but no, both the players spit on it. They don't want it. Oh wait, no, not quite. ZEIKOOO decides to take away his saliva and pick it up for the good of his team. Maybe he can sell it, you never know. Oh my. Shredder being picked up here as well for ZEIKOOO. That must be his own Shredder from earlier. He's not doing too well though. The Knight just about escaping here. Lovely. Nice dig there, although there is another Knight here somewhat AFK. There's so much action going on, it's so easy to sort of leave, you know, units and that behind with everything else being so manic as it is. ZEIKOOO trying to fill up this expansion again, but LazyPlayer knows what's going down, and those peasants ain't going to get much gold back, that's for sure. I dare say they probably just paid off for themselves, barely. So it looks like, I think, yes, he sold his items. He sold the hilarious flute and another item, I believe, and he's up to 217 gold to basically produce himself another Knight and his Paladin in a bid to come back into this game. Is it going to be enough? Stormbolt going off there on LazyPlayer's Knight, but the Holy Light says no. Take it back to the Mountain King, see how he likes it. Oh, get in there, my son. Mountain King almost getting the one shot. Oh, with the help of the water elemental, getting the 1.2 shot on the priest there. Every little helps in this situation, particularly where ZEIKOOO is. Doesn't particularly want to use that shredder if he can, but it looks like the shredder is being saved, but not for long. Starfall Sanctuary can only do so much for you. Paladin's still got a little way to go. He doesn't want to lose this altar. It's kind of important for him. At the same time, LazyPlayer is wondering whether to focus still on this Mountain King. He's going for the Mountain King. He's not going to worry too much about the altar, even though he definitely doesn't want that Paladin coming back out. Is he going to be able to dive in here? Is this too suicidal? Is the Mountain King going to be able to run away with his little legs? Is the Archmage going to be able to snipe him off? I don't think so. It looks like the Mountain King's going to once again get away. That means that LazyPlayer loses one of his knights, and it gives ZEIKOOO just about enough time to probably get his Paladin out of the altar with that distraction. And Mountain King's sitting at the back here. Is he going to get the heal from the Paladin as it comes out? No, my God, he's not going to do it. Paladin can't reach him because the Water Elemental is blocking, and the Mountain King goes down. ZEIKOOO! That's probably what he was depending on, that Paladin coming out. That's why he brought the Mountain King out, because he's like, okay, as soon as this Paladin comes out, I'm going to heal my Mountain King. But I could see it. In the midst of the battle, I understand how this feels. In the midst of the battle, you're just assuming that units are doing their jobs. No, that Paladin was bloody well stuck behind a big fat water elemental. Oh, there's an awesome surround here. I can't believe that freaking ZEIKOOO's pulled this off. Is he going to get the Archmage down? All game long, that Archmage has been such a person, and boom, just out of nowhere, he's getting this amazing surrounds. Is this enough to turn around the game? A couple of water elementals and a nice surround? Could that be it after all of this has been going on? Oh my goodness, is he going to still stay on the Paladin? I think he's still trying to stay on the Paladin as long as possible. Paladin doesn't have enough mana to heal on this. Oh my goodness, he just about does try to... Oh my God, this is crazy. Another water elemental coming out there. Beautiful block there. Oh my God, don't say it. LazyPlayer lost the game. Another surprise twist. Oh wow, that is insane. ZEIKOOO with an extra goal, but LazyPlayer really just doing such a fantastic job to make up for his goal deficiency. The twist was the surrounds. I did not see that coming. Cheeky Archmage with the water elemental surrounds secured the victory. All of that effort, all of that APM, all of that unit micro just came down in the end to a simple surround. Fantastic game. Really well done. Okay, well, if you enjoyed this, then please subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/WTiiWarcraft. You can catch me streaming at twitch.tv/witty. Otherwise, you can catch me on social media all across the board with the WTiiWarcraft name. And if you want to help out the channel a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/WTiiWarcraft. Just check the video description below for all of the links. And have a good one. I'll see you later. Take care.